guys, and welcome to the
Migas
Podcast.
Podcast. One, two, three.
I know. We typically say it's the
Migas.
but we wanted to keep you on your toes.
Surprise.
Surprise.
What are you sipping on over there?
My amazing latte that I am so prideful about.
I love it.
It's very delicious.
I love it. I saw you posted it on the takeover.
I know. I finally did something.
I love it.
A little ASMR.
I'm over here sipping on some strong ass ginger tea made by one of Calvin's employees. He's literally, I'm like, you need to sell this. It's so good. He does like mashes up a bunch of like ginger and I forgot what else he adds to it, but it is amazing. I'm sure there's some cinnamon in it because it's spicy, but it's sweet.
Okay.
It's good. I'm like, do you add sugar to this? Because now I don't want it. I'm trying to avoid.
You're like, nah,
trying to limit the added sugar intake. You know, trying to remember that reel that I sent you where the girl, what was it? She didn't eat sugar or like processed sugars for like a while. She was like, look at how her jawline looks. I was like, I want to test it out. I do believe in it because of course all this extra shit that we're adding to our bodies. But
we
how you been? Yeah. How you been?
Good.
What's your matcha
tea?
My tea. Your tea.
My tete.
Your matcha tea.
Not much. What are we doing? I mean, just kind of my job. I finally got to know who the person replacing the VP is. So I got my new boss.
How was that? Male, female?
Male. Very nice guy. Pretty chill. I did get I might be going to Florida for work in May for an offsite and stuff like that for like 2 days.
And what part? Like South?
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, oh.
Nice. You should tell them to put you in Lindsay's Airbnb. Did you check it out?
I did.
So cute.
But I'm not doing that. They're not going to pay that.
I know. I was like,
sorry,
I'll go join you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Like,
I need to find my whole family.
Right. So, I'm going to see because I actually have to discuss it with Alberto. Like maybe we all go as a family and at least my ticket is paid for.
Right.
But if it's just like a quick in and out, I mean,
it's
only
not
2
worth
days.
It. Yeah.
So, but I know Ollie will get so mad because you know him,
Mr. Florida.
Mr. West Palm Beach. How about you? What's your matcha?
Matcha tea? Well, I was under the weather. I caught whatever it was that was going around.
It was not my fault, guys. You were away from each other.
No. The thing is, like, remember I said, I was trying to avoid it literally all throughout the holiday season. I knew eventually. I'm like, I'm not freaking naive to it either. Like, there's germs everywhere. I'm out and about. I'm touching things, touching my face. It's just fucking germs. But I was happy that I didn't get any like fevers or I did get like minor like body aches or whatever, but nothing crazy. But the most annoying part was the congestion.
Yeah.
So annoying because it's like now I understand like when people have allergies, like the sinus, like how uncomfortable it is, and the fact that it comes on, it goes away, you think you're good, and then all of a sudden it comes out of fucking nowhere. I remember like laying down and I'm just like, I can't breathe or not. Obviously I could breathe, but it was so difficult. Other than that, I've just been shopping around for my little Valentine's Day thing.
We were just saying like that we actually like this holiday.
Yes. And I said, I was like, obviously we're obsessed with Christmas and the decor and all that jazz, but Valentine's,
it's stepping up.
Like it's
getting there.
And it's so nice that it starts immediately after
the new year,
Christmas or whatever. Because I told you I found some things. I think it was right before New Year's, so I was like, I definitely found this shit in December. Now, and you can't find much. So if you're looking for V-Day stuff, get it now.
Are you doing Caleb's Love Basket the beginning of February? Or like on February 1st?
I know.
Are you going to give it to him?
Great question.
Or are you going to give it to him on Valentine's Day?
I don't know.
I just kind of feel like, so I ordered pajamas for the kids and like an additional
Yeah.
set, and I had like crazy points at Carter's, so I got 3 pairs of pajamas for $4.
Nice.
Like literally,
all three of them for
for
$4.
$4.
Like I love, next time throw in Caleb size. When you getting those,
this is great. I was like, this is great. I have all these points. So, because I checked on Old Navy, everything was sold out, but Carter's actually still had a decent amount.
It's insane that how Old Navy has their B-Day stuff sold out. Well, even that coat that everyone was obsessed with, I literally got so many. I was even telling Carolyn, I was like, I'm so upset that this shit is sold out because so many link clicks, like the most link clicks I have gotten
was from there.
But nobody bought shit because it was sold out. Unfortunately. But yeah, it was such a good coat, and I'm like, winter just started, but again,
people prepare.
You have to.
But I was thinking of doing it on February 1st to give them their love baskets. So instead of the bucket one that you got with the hearts, I actually got the basket. Because I'm like, I can put the pajamas. I want to get a book. More, yeah. And then I figured that, and then I'm gonna do again the little hearts on the door of everything that I love. But instead of every single day putting one up there, I'm actually just going to make them and put all 14 on the door.
Smart.
I mean, 14 on one door and then 28 on the other. Because I do one for
double.
Well, you know what? I might just do 2 different colors. So like,
we'll do it on the bathroom door to kind of since they're right adjacent to each other.
Yeah, but I'll do like for the girls, I'll do their heart and then just do like half of it like in one color and the other half. So that's like cute. For Zoe and then Ollie. Cute. I mean, and then Alina. So they
still be 14 hearts. That's smart. I like that.
Yeah.
Very cute. But now I gotta think. Now you got me thinking.
Like,
when am I gonna do this?
Like I'm trying to teach them how to read. So like, and then you're doing the same with Caleb. So if you do those and you kind of,
I know I was because my comadre sent me that same thing that's been going around, and
whoever that was copied me because I did this shit last year. No, just kidding.
Fucking freaking and I was like, you know what? I was like, maybe I'll do that next year when you can actually read. And I'm here, have these big goals. And I'm like, no pressure, Caleb, but I need you to learn how to read by next year. I don't know. I'll see. Or maybe I'll do just letters.
Yeah.
Like
L working for I love you. Or like A is for amazing.
I know. L is for the way you look at me. I love that song.
Yeah. I did share that I got some cute Valentine's. So she's always decked out in Valentine's Day gear. And
this was just years of collecting shit.
I just started doing it. Yeah. So I ordered 2 cute sweaters from Temu and then like headbands. And then I had earrings last year I did get them from Temu as well. The ones I ordered this, but I had cute little hearts from Loft.
Nice.
And I never got to wear them. And then I got some fun socks because I'm like, ooh, even with jeans, I could put the higher socks and sneakers that'll still look cute. Exactly. So I'm excited for that because after this, like I feel like in February, I think from the 1st to the 14th, because I do that with the kids, I dress them in all hearts all the time.
Do it for yourself.
So I'm gonna do it for myself.
Especially like going into the office.
Exactly. So the days that they see
me.
And then I decorated the office. I showed you guys. All with Dollar Tree items. So
I'm here for it. I love it.
Everybody's like, these are so cute. I was like, the gnomes were $3.
Yeah, that was like that.
And they're heavy.
That was the most expensive thing.
Yeah, and they're heavy. I was like,
they're quality. Quality gnomes.
Yeah, quality gnomes.
Quality gnomes.
QG.
I love it.
Quality gnomes.
But I did a quick I'm calling it a hit and run at Target because it was just like quick action just to see because I'm looking for the little freaking teaspoons that they had out. It's like a pack of 4 and I'm sure they probably go for like $3 or $5, but I have not seen it at my Target. But I also have not sat there and gone insane and done a Target tour looking for them either. So I said that maybe today if I have time after here, I'll check out the Target in this area or the other Target on my way home.
Got it.
To see, but because I told myself that and the heart shape light pink mug, those are like the 2 things that I'm looking for. Other than that, nothing else. But I have found like Target did their thing in the bullseye for that Valentine's collection. It is adorable. It's darling. The carpool moms always like use that word. I feel like it's like a Midwest Southern word. It's so they did a great freaking job. It's a darling collection. They did amazing, amazing, amazing. So that's just kind of what I've been up to besides being sick. I did also, from the Target trip yesterday, I did find, I don't know if you've seen, they had it out last year, and I'm glad they brought it back this year because last year I didn't get a chance to buy it. It's like a cardigan and it has hearts in pink and red. But my biggest thing is the buttons are heart shaped.
Oh, that's
and they're like
cute.
they're like velvety. Yeah, it's really cool. And literally, it was just one of them, and it was a size XL. And I was like, this is probably gonna be a little bit too big, but maybe I'm thinking I may wear that for our Galentine's. But I may do it because I was like, I can also do it like without anything, but I can do it like with a collared. I have like this fresh collared button down. Got it for Christmas. I was like crispy white, and then with the thing over it, so it can kind of be what I guess what's that look like? Collegiate? Is that like that look?
Collegiate.
Or preppy.
Collegiate.
Preppy. Right? Collegiate. Collegiate.
What is it?
How do you pronounce?
No, what is it? The word that I say, and then instead I'm like, it's conversate, and I'm like conversing. No,
I don't know what
I forgot. Anyways.
It's to converse, conversating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually said conversating.
Converse. Yeah, you did. That's all I was like, Nora, how dare you? Because like again, it will be like something that I would say.
Let's get into this episode, guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's
Cindy,
do it.
Tell them
what we're talking about. This is, and I'm sure it's gonna ruffle feathers, but here we are to shake it up. Shimmy, shimmy. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all.
Yeah. Shimmy, shimmy, y'all.
Let's talk about default parent. What that is, and at the same time parenting roles, and we could obviously like talk forever on this subject, but we are going to share with you guys our personal experiences and how we have become the default parents, but how we're also working to not 100% be that default parent with our partners. And we also are very aware that this is very hard for the single parents out there, both moms and dads.
Yeah.
That you are like that. You don't have no other fucking option. And that to me, like, reminds me to count the blessing that I have in a partner, even if you want to sit there and be resentful for certain things, but at least there's someone there, or someone that is being present that wants to be there. Because that's are definitely gonna touch up on that, and we can bring on several guests for that as well, because I think it's becoming more and more common as well, throughout society, or maybe it always existed, but now again, thankful to social media and all these other outlets, we hear their personal stories.
Yeah.
And can have some empathy, because I can't speak on that because I have not experienced it, and I hope to, knock on wood, never experience that, because that doesn't only come through obviously separation, divorce. It can come through death.
Yes.
Morbid. Let's go.
Morbid, Cindy. So if you don't know what a default parent is, if you don't know what a default parent is, when a child routinely favors one parent over the other for comfort, affection, and permission. There's a term for that, and it's called default parenting. Default parenting often involves being the first in line to take care of the tasks around the house, as well as child-related responsibilities. And this comes from Google.com.
So if you Google it, that'll be the first thing that pops up, because that was the first thing that popped up for me. So I was doing a little research for this episode, because of course we want to, bring you guys immediate episodes with some resources, but at the same time, we're always constantly sharing like our personal experiences, but we also want to work on, especially with the season, adding those, facts and things. And I felt like we've done that in previous seasons, but now we want to be more aware of it for you guys. So, and you guys let us know, like, if you guys have any facts or experiences on this, please share, because sharing is caring.
Yeah.
And at the same time, through our vulnerable stories, you learn to build the bonds, and I feel like that's how we have bonded, by just being raw, real, very transparent with each other with our stories. We ain't sugarcoating shit like this fucking sucked today, but this was great today. That wasn't, and yada yada. But you have to talk about, and that's your personal story, and
Yeah.
that's what makes you who you are.
Yeah.
So hopefully you feel inspired to check in on your parenting roles, or if you are always a default parent, feel inspired to have the conversation.
Yeah.
Whether that be with your spouse, your partner, the family, the community that's helping you raise your children, your child, etc., etc. So, how was it for you? Because I know now you've experienced the newborn phase, not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Thrice.
Thrice. So let's like start from there,
Mm.
Or even because I feel like when you're pregnant, obviously you're the default parent because
Yeah.
you're
the incubator.
you're the one that's like working on the maternity leave, doing the paperwork, then the disability stuff, like that's all. It literally, you become the default. That all falls on you to file all that paperwork, talk to HR about your leave and what days do you have. But then that baby arrives.
Yeah.
So
Oh, just a quick little sidebar. Let us know if you actually want us to create a resource, at least for the state of New Jersey, for how to go about preparing, kind of like a checklist.
oh my God, yes.
Because I know each company does it, but like, just kind of like pooling the resources in with like state stuff that you may need to, and just kind of like our experience. So let us know that.
Yes.
Okay, back to our episode.
Back to the episode. That was a little commercial break.
A little resource break.
I love it. So for, let's say, like, if you could remember from like day one, like even just being in the hospital and then even just the transition home, and how those roles were right there in that moment for you.
So each kid was completely different. I remember with Ollie, I did not want the nursery to take him. He was my first. So I wanted to be there because in my mind, I was like, no, I need to be 100% mom mode all day, he needs me. And especially because I breastfed all three and I pumped. That was like my saving grace. Like no shade or anything. I was able to. I'm very, very blessed to. So Oliver was literally like glued to me. I didn't want anybody to really be around. And I was okay with like people holding him and stuff, but I'm like, no. And like in my culture, like my mom did like this whole big thing because it was my first and people were just over and I was like, we're not going downstairs. I was like, we're not going downstairs. I don't need them to kiss him. And no, thank you. And it was like mama bear mode 1000. But I felt I had to do everything, the changing the diapers, the feeding, the cleaning of the bottles, like the bathing, the swaddling, just everything, because it was ingrained in my head that he's mine. It was like kind of like an imprint, like he's mine. I do this all because I have to, and I want to. Then I had Alina and I was like, take her to the fight.
But really quick, rewinding back to Ollie in that phase, in that period, was there any like conversation with Roberto about it, or you were like, you're fine, like I'll do it? Like, was there?
No, there was. Like he would just be like, I can change his diaper. I could do, and like, and
but did you have the trust in him to do that? Because I feel like that's where a lot of moms are like, oh well, I don't know, I'll just do it.
In the beginning, no, but then I had to like, because I got mastitis twice, like, and then I'm like, it is what it, but I always feel it's like with your first, it's a whole nother, like you are a helicopter parent, at least for me, 1000%. But I had to kind of let go too, because once I found out I was pregnant again, oh my God, I think I reverted back to helicopter parenting because I wanted to soak in all of the things that I could do with him while he was still by himself.
Yeah, Alina came.
Yeah. But yeah, like he would, like Berto would take him to daycare. Well, it was very, very small period of time he was in daycare. But like those kind of things, I'm like, sure, you can take him. And like he would, change him and whatever. But it was his dad, like, kind of like, what the fuck is he wearing? Like,
the outfit.
Like, what is happening? But that, there was you can't do what mommy does. And I'm like, no, but at some point you just kind of have to let it go. But when it's your first, these expectations that you put on yourself are just so crazy. that you're just kind of like, because it's all my attention is on this little tiny human, and it's only on this little tiny human.
Right.
Then Alina came.
And you said nursery.
I was
Help.
like, oh yeah, no, you can. I was like, that's fine. Take her to the nursery. That's fine. Give her formula. My milk will come in when it comes in. And whoever wanted to hold her, I was like, you can hold her. You can hold her. Anybody can hold her. Yeah, keep watching her, whatever. And it was a little, but she was also very independent. Like we got home and she slept in her crib, I think at like 2 months, because our rooms were so close together too. But Ollie was literally glued to me until I think he turned like 4 or 5 years old, then got out of the bed. But it was like mommy, or as my in-laws call him, mamitis abuelitis, like all that
mamitis,
yeah. And I'm like, okay,
it's
yeah,
it's an annoying thing to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
but then eventually
Yeah.
you're like, whatever.
yeah. Now with little Miss Zoe, I talked about it on my takeover. She is going through a regression, and it is mommy season. It is all things mommy, mommy, mommy. And it's to the point she wakes up in the middle of the night, mommy. And I'm like, I'm right here.
Yeah, it's this the separation anxiety.
She has
she's 18 months.
Yeah,
right?
she just turned 19 months. And
yeah,
but when she sees Blanca, she forgets all about me. She's like, see ya.
She imprints on her.
Yeah, but once she sees me, she
Aww.
comes in and it's like she wants to be in the kitchen with me. She wants to be like, and it's cute, but it's also like frustrating. But I also have to like I had said, I'm like, this is temporary. Because right now Ollie goes through his little phases. Like he'll literally tell me like, I don't like you, mommy, and I'm like, because I said you couldn't have fucking Oreos. Is that why you don't like me? Like.
Well, they be master manipulators.
Oh, it's super master
manipulator. And they do what you're fucking feeling.
Yes,
they know how to.
Yeah,
they
get in there. They're just like, and you're like, like, but I mean, I was very big on the like. I was the default parent for. I mean, I still am, but Berto has completely stepped up in a way that like his schedule is more flexible. When I was working in the city, like the kids didn't even know who I was because I was never home. Like, oh, mommy, hi. But it was like, daddy, 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 like, and it was because of the time. So yes, if you're a default parent and you're a work from home mom or a stay at home mom, obviously that's what they're used to. Like when you see something over and over and over again,
right,
that's what you're used to. And when Ollie was little, like right when I think like 2.5, I think, or something, COVID hit. So we were home, like, we were home together. So like he got to see me all the time.
That's definitely something we gotta talk about, default parenting through COVID.
And like he had his virtual school, and that's when we got the autism diagnosis. And like, so obviously I was more into that. Like I was more involved in all the things that he was doing because we spent so much time together. So it's like I couldn't feel resentment that I'm a default parent because I'm like, it's like in a relationship, like when you just see the person all the time, you're just like, oh my God, I love them so much. They're always with me. Like,
Yeah.
And I was just I was Ollie and Alina's shadow. Like everything they did, I'm there because I needed to see the development. I needed to do these so that I can talk to the doctors and do all these things. So there's always one. Always. But now that I'm back at work, it's like, it's a little bit of both, like they know when I'm home, they get excited when they see me. And then when they know I'm working, oh, mommy's at work. Okay. Like, but for stuff like I could literally, I'm like, I could be on fire and you'll ask me to open your juice, like, or, open it. Like, what is happening? And like literally like Bert and I could be sitting like this and they're just like, and I have like 1,000 they are folded clothes and they're like,
all over you. Yep.
Mommy, I want goldfish. Get up and go get it. And I'm like, what? And it's just comfort. It's comfort. And in my head, I'm like, it's temporary. It's temporary because I'm going to be begging for the moment when they need me when they're older.
I know.
And I think I'm going to pass out every time they don't need me. I don't need you. I'm like, what do you
yeah.
And I have 3 of these I have to deal with. It's going to break 3 times.
And then 4 times within your own heart. Like, man, what's funny?
Well, I'll tell you, because when Berto doesn't need me for something, I'm like, what do you mean you don't need me? Sir. He's like, no, but I want to take this. I'm like, no, I am needed. You need me to do this.
So sometimes does it fill your cup?
Oh yeah,
to feel needed.
Because for me, my love language is acts of service. And and I may talk like I'm annoyed about it, but we are doing some work in therapy, y'all. We are doing some
Hey.
work. Yo, I love this fucking lady.
I'm glad.
Oh,
Because
I
she ain't
love
trying to be your
her.
friend.
No, she's not. And like we are unpacking. It's like peeling
Good.
onion.
Good.
But I'm like not like, yeah, I need to set the boundaries, obviously. But when I want to do things or like certain things that I'm like, I know that this fills my cup and then this is just something that I like, I need to be more vocal about it. So
Isn't that like, it sounds so easy, right?
it does.
Just gotta be vocal.
Yeah.
It's gotta be vocal, but it's just like, how do I say it
without sounding annoying?
right? Or like, like, or
bothering or
nagging or
yeah.
something. And it's funny because, and just today, like Kelvin is off. I get in the shower, I'm there doing my thing, and then I'm like, oh shit, we ran out of like, we use like the bar soaps, and I know he's right there in our bedroom, and I saw that he was up, and I was just like, how do I ask him without saying sorry? Like, sorry, sorry, but I need this. And then I was just like, I'm just gonna flat out say it. So I literally opened the shower door in the bathroom door, and I was like, thankfully it's like right, everything's close to each other. I was like, babe, can you please get me a bar of soap? There's none in here. And that was all. And then we brought out, said thank you, and that was it. But old me would have been like, old me would have been like, sorry, I know you're laying down, but excuse me, can you please go to the other bathroom and grab me? And then today I was like, no.
Yeah. Now that you say that,
and that sometimes it's like 2 seconds to like rephrase it in your head.
And like I always tell Berta, like, oh, I'm sorry, and he has to tell me, he's like, why are you apologizing?
Yeah.
Like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like I know why. I'm not going to say I don't know. I know why. And it's because growing up, anytime I asked for something, it was me just asking for too much. Even if it's like the most minuscule things, or like, or you want too much, or like, you know what I'm saying? So growing up,
that makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's my catchphrase. Hers is all that jazz, and I'm like, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
You know?
And I picked up that habit from the manager I had at other place.
It's crazy how we become.
I literally sat there one day, and in a conversation that she's having with me, she said, you know, I think we were on the phone for 25 minutes. She said it 75 times.
You sat there and counted. You couldn't.
I literally was like,
you couldn't even focus.
No, she's talking, and I'm like, I was like, if this was a drinking game, I'll die.
And the thing, I didn't realize that I say it until Caleb is saying it. And I'm like, who do you get that from? He's like in the middle of his conversation, you know? And I'm like,
oops,
that's me. And then again, going on stories and hearing yourself speak, it's, for me, it's practice, even for this or just public speaking in general, because it's an instant like review of yourself right there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize that I'd said that while I was speaking.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, just quick little self checks. But yeah, I feel, again, just the awareness, and again, the same thing with default parenting, like being aware of the parenting roles, that there's always going to be a default parent.
Yeah.
But is being aware of it and understanding, okay, I'm the default parent, but that doesn't mean that the other parent is slacking.
Correct.
You know, they're doing other things. And again, then the teamwork comes in, and that whole collaboration. And again, if you're not communicating, then then you're gonna sit there and be like, well, fuck the other person.
Yeah.
They don't work as hard as me. And your
resentment grows
so much. And it snowballs really quick.
Yeah.
From that freaking newborn phase. So I mean, our kids are what, in the newborn? Oh, we don't have newborns right now, but we have toddlers and school age kids. And I feel like with that newborn and toddler phase, it snowballs really quick, and because you feel like you don't have time. Yeah.
And that, if you notice, a lot of people, like, because you're on a highest of high when
with
you're pregnant.
Baby. Yeah.
When you are pregnant, and it's like all of these, like, what's the term that I'm looking for? Like all of these plans, all of these things, like, I'm going to do this, like all these goals that, like, you know, couples and partners, they come to, oh, we're going to do this and it's going to be so great. Then when your baby's born, you can have a colic baby. You can have a baby that is like a night owl, has their night,
or a baby that has to be in the NICU, and that puts so much stress on everyone.
You can have a child with learning disabilities, physical disabilities, and no one puts a guidebook together on how do, like, to work with that, like how to, and then also keep in mind, default parents, the roles are interchangeable.
Absolutely. Because
Because
life happens.
yeah, life is
You
life,
don't
and
know.
because like there
No, or
are,
like you can,
yeah,
God forbid, you can be instantly disabled because
yeah,
shit happens.
yeah.
Here I am going the morbid
I
route,
know.
and then all of a
I'm here
sudden,
thinking like,
something else.
well, like when COVID happened and people got laid off, so like the mom kept her job
I'm
and the
here thinking
dad
it's like
stayed home.
the one parent has to be hospitalized for
Yeah,
some crazy, or they were in an accident
yeah.
again because you could get hit by a fucking bus. Like just shit happens. No, because
Morbid.
like at work they have like hit by a bus bug,
Yeah. Oh God.
aka like God forbid something happens to that person, or
Mm.
that person is on vacation, you can't reach them, but something needs to get done. Like everyone needs to know, and holy shit, that makes total sense,
Yeah.
and that is very transferable to parenting.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
same way at fucking work, everybody knows each other's jobs.
Yeah.
The same method should be applied to fucking
Exactly.
parenting. Wow, we just
There you go. We cracked
right,
it. That's it. That's it.
but we escaped the parenting role room.
We have solved all of your woes. No. But it's crazy because, you know, in your household, like your house is your company, right? And then everybody's an employee pretty much, and all the functions work. And like as your kids get older, you start to give them different things, because each parent also provides a different type of like guidance or something. So
Or
like,
brings different
yeah,
skills to the
exactly,
table.
exactly. So like, if the kids are gonna try to learn, like, um honestly, in our home, I'm like, how to deal with stressful situations, go talk to your father. Like, go sit with Berto because he is cool, chill, like a cucumber. Nothing can rattle him. And I'm like, dude, I don't know how you do it, because me, I would have set the house on fire. I would have like pulled my hair, screaming, running through the streets, like, on the most
One
like,
kid would have been sitting outside in
yeah,
the yard, like go
like,
go on timeout.
I don't know. I don't know what mom's deal is, like, but like Berto's just very chill, always has been. It was annoying when we were dating because I'm like, shut up, bitch. And he's just like, dude, I don't know what the fucking problem is. Like, chill. And I'm like, I don't know how to chill.
I don't know.
But when it comes to like kind of creative thinking and problem solving, like, I'm your girl. Like, we will figure this shit out. We will figure it out. So every parent comes with their own special sets of skills. And you just have to be there to guide your little clan. Your
No,
little
yeah, and each
and
other,
yeah.
and again, those conversations, like those team meetings.
Mhm.
That's why, again, if you apply the same shit that happens at your job, hopefully for the better, because I know some jobs could be a whole shit show. But if you apply that mentality of that it's a team, and everyone has their own roles, but those roles are interchangeable, and again, everyone is growing and learning different things, and those skill sets. Then okay, you learn a new skill. How can we apply that to this household, to
Correct.
this family?
But that's like important to have family meetings. Like, especially when your kids are old enough, like, for them to understand, like, we do things as a family, as a
Family
unit.
meetings,
Oh,
I
and
love it.
that's the thing, is family meetings also shows communication. So once my kids are at an age where they kind of understand, like, what are the expectations, like, this month going forward, like, hey, like, my work schedule is going to be crazy, mom, or like daddy's work schedule is going to be crazy, we need you to kind of pick up slack around the house, you need to do this and you need to do that, and setting those expectations just how you would at work. That is showing the clear and concise communication that you need, and how the family is going to function.
I love that.
And then, like, even it doesn't always have to be like delegating work. It could always be, for example, like, all right, so this month, like, we are planning on our trip, we're going to be going away, like, it's something fun, it's like, what do you guys want to do, like, getting the input so that everybody collectively has like
Something,
awareness,
yes.
and input on what they want to do. And also, it's just collaboration, camaraderie, and just
No, and you're showing compassion for each other.
yeah,
Like, yeah, I want to go on this trip, but it's a family trip. But these are all the things that I want to do.
exactly.
And my coworker reminded me of that whenever her daughter absolutely loves aquariums. So anywhere
Welcome
they
to the
go,
club.
anywhere they go, they always set aside a day to take her. Because then, like, I think like the dad likes like to do like the hiking stuff. I'm not sure too much. I don't think she said like what she does. I think she just goes along with what everybody else is doing. But she was like, we always set a date during that vacation, or a couple hours if it's a shortened vacation. I was like, I love that,
Yeah.
because you're being mindful
of what
of the
the
other
yeah.
person.
Yeah.
You know, it's also their vacation too.
Yep.
So I
So
like that approach.
tell us about your default parenting journey with Mr. Caleb.
With Caleb, little Caleb, Mr.
Mr. Caleb.
Caleb. I know he
Mr. K Money.
he's little, but he's a grown little viejito.
Yeah,
He's a
he is.
little old
Especially with
man.
his little uniform. I'm like, look at those shoes. Look at those little loafers.
And I bought him like his next size up because I found these like on sale, but they don't fit him yet. Those are hella viejito vibes, and I can't wait for him to. Because even today I checked, I was like, oh no, he still fits in these. I'm waiting for him to outgrow his shoes.
So random. I went to Children's Place because we were at the mall, and I did see a bunch of uniform stuff, and there was good pricing.
I saw.
I
So
was like, oh,
I'm considering, yeah, because like right now with his pants, I feel like the waist is starting to fit him a little tight. So I was just like, I think it's not time to size up. But the thing is, with them at that specific age, they don't use the belt pants yet. They have to have the ones with the stretch. I guess for the easier for the bathroom. Yeah. Like you can't have like the ones with the zipper or button. So I have to be mindful of that. I'll check the ones out at Children's Place to see if the waistband isn't as tight, or maybe I can check if I can loosen up his current ones, because like they still fit him lengthwise. I feel bad because like it literally like it's imprinted in his freaking skin when he comes home, but he hasn't complained about it. But Mr. Caleb, when he was born, again, absolutely loved my pregnancy, even though it was during the pandemic, but truly enjoyed that time. It was scary, uncertain, but made the best of it. And I did not, there was like zero conversation, let's say, with Calvin prior to even like drawing it. I guess, honestly, even being a first time mom, looking back, I really went with the flow of things. And that's so not me. So motherhood has literally shocked me, I guess I should say, because I was really surprised of my ways of just kind of letting things be.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to control everything, trying to control the narrative. And I guess God showed me a lesson very early on, because we brought Caleb home. Everything was fine. Then a couple days later, spiked crazy fever. You guys are aware of the story. So he had to be hospitalized for 2 weeks. And that, in a sense, was insane. But at the same time, there was so many silver linings there with parenting and teamwork between Calvin and I. That very early on, I was very comfortable with him, changing his diaper, taking care of him, feeding him, because it was during COVID or the pandemic. We couldn't both stay overnight with him in the hospital. It was just one parent. So then what we did was we alternated. Like one night I would stay, another night he would stay, and we did that for until the 2 weeks were up. So that already, I think, set the tone for us without us even like knowing. And it really showed, I think, Kelvin, especially those hours that he was there in the hospital by himself. Obviously, thankfully, had professional nursing staff with him. God forbid if he didn't know how to do anything or what was going on. So that, I think, even for him as a father, gave him also that confidence to be with a newborn. Because he always said, I remember when we would go visit our friends and family that would have babies, he was always not a fan of holding a newborn.
You're like, look how tiny.
Because it's so delicate. But I'm always like, give me that baby. Even Carolyn calls me literally a baby hugger because I'm like, I want to hold the baby. Give me the baby. And now becoming a mom, I'm more like standoffish. I give it time. I don't just go in there and just like, can I carry the baby? Oh yeah, cool. But like, I do always ask, and I'm just not snatching up a newborn. But it really helped the both of us, I think. And then shortly after we get home from the hospital, I get COVID. And Calvin is like negative or whatever. So then I was like staying away from Caleb, even though the doctor did say that I can I could still hold him, but I would have to have my mask on. So I was doing that to alleviate and give Calvin a break because he was taking care of me, taking care of the baby. My parents were also like living with us at that point, taking care of my parents. Like, he was literally taking care of an entire sick household and a newborn for like a good week and a half. So I know, like, I can see it in his face that he was just drained towards the end. And especially with a newborn that, he was sleeping every like 3 hours or would wake up every 3 hours or whatever. He was not like sleeping through the night. None of that stuff. We didn't get, blessed with that.
Yeah.
But um that, I mean, even again, but then I was a stay-at-home mom. So that automatically you are the default parent when it comes to that, because again, like you said, you're with that child,
Mm.
more than, you know, the majority of the day. I was gonna say more than 24 hours. I was like, there's no more than 24 hours in the day. But it feels like there is, especially during those first few months. But even with that, um, and it's not like we had like a schedule like to put Caleb to sleep at night, but we would, in a sense, okay, like you go put him down, like it wasn't just me every single night. And then sometimes, take him over an hour, and then to that transfer from the arm to the crib, making sure. And then sometimes he will wake up. So we both experienced that. And even till this day, when it comes to the night routines, sometimes I realize, oh, I already did like 2 days in a row. I was like, I'll let him do it. But it's not like I'm sitting there and being like resentful about, like, I already did it 2 nights. Can you go do it?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm like, can you go put Caleb to sleep? So I don't think I've felt any of that resentment thus far. And then again, I think it's just, even with this podcast and being aware and listening to these other moms, and because again, I feel, and I'm sure you've seen them, the default parent like list on Instagram, like these posts. It's
Yeah.
like, and they irk me
Same.
because, and I'm trying not to see it as that parent complaining. And again, especially like if I know they have a spouse or a partner at home, I'm like, but did you communicate? Did you talk to him about this?
Yeah.
Because of course, like you said, you can sit there in silence and be so mad, but like you'll be like that fucking forever if you don't voice. Or did you send them that meme? Because that could be another way too. I mean, everybody communicates now through memes and reels.
Yeah.
You could send them a reel with a message like, hey, I really like the way that they spoke about this. What do you think? And that can be a conversation starter. That could be a modern day conversation starter through a reel or a post. So by seeing all those things, I realized, I'm like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was a thing. First of all, I didn't even know that default parent was a title until, again, seeing it on social media. And I realized, I was like, oh shit, I am the default parent, because like I was like, I know like where Caleb's like clothes, like his next set of the next size up, or I know when he needs this or when he needs that. But I remember unconsciously, whenever I would move like Caleb's like or reorganize Caleb's dresser drawers or move the diapers around or whatever it was, I would, when Kelvin would come home, I'll show him, oh look, now this is where I have his shirts and that. But it was also kind of like me in the back of my head. I'm like, that morbid thing. I was like, what if I die tomorrow? Like, this poor man is not going to know where anything is for his son.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm literally setting up my husband for failure because he doesn't know shit. And I'm like, and I always told him, I was like, this is his doctor, this is his office, like, this is his immunization record, like all those things, because they need to know that. Or at least like who to call to get that information. And then one of the things that I did, and this was consciously, I did it last summer, and I'm sure, again, I spoke about it last season, was I'm like, oh crap, I'm like, Caleb needs a new coat, because the coat that he had was already good for like the past 2 years. And I was like, he definitely needs a new coat now that he's in school. And there's not a drop-off line in his school. Like, you have to bark and like walk him down, because other than that, I wouldn't care, like put too much effort into getting him a coat, because I'm like, he really doesn't need it. If he's just in and out, he could just layers and he'll be fine. But I literally told Calvin, I was like, babe, Caleb needs a new coat this year. Okay, does he need anything else? But I was like, and he took care of it. And it was just simply me just telling him, and I'm like, wow, that was so simple. That's something less that I have to worry about. Because I feel like, again, even like going back to like the workload, if I'm not expressing to my boss or my peers, like, right now my workload is too much, and I'm just sitting there taking it in and taking on more work on top of that, and missing deadlines, missing that. But if I've never communicated that to my boss, then it says I'm at fault.
Yeah.
I'm about to be fired because I didn't communicate that. You know what I'm saying? So if we like applying that same mentality to the household is huge. And what else has it been? Like, even with the whole, since I do everything in the morning, because Calvin is already literally off to work before we're even up. So then I'm like, okay, cool. I'll drop him off. You pick him up. So now that's also something for Caleb that he also is looking forward to. Like,
Mm.
oh, daddy's gonna pick me up today, you know. So it's just that the communicating and the dividing of tasks if need be, making a list,
Mhm.
writing it down, doing a shared calendar, whatever you need to do to make sure that like your partner is aware of everything that's going on. Like one thing that Colin always does now is like, what do we have going on this weekend? You know, like, so I'm like, oh, is there something that you need to do? You know,
Mm.
you need a haircut or car wash, whatever, oil change, like what's on your to-do list?
Yeah.
And again, because other than that, if we don't communicate it, then I wouldn't know shit what's going on in his life or what errands he needs to run for
Yeah.
himself, you know, so he could be good for the week.
And then it's not like when it is done or like when they have to go do it, you're not like, you didn't tell me.
Right.
Like, you
Or
know what
like,
I'm
oh,
saying?
I had something to do too. Like
Yeah.
I had, do you know I had my nail appointment? Like, so now I tell him ahead, like, okay, especially now that I'm booking my nail appointments literally once a month. I'm like, oh, I have my nail appointment booked if it's, especially like if it's on like a Friday night or something like that, or early on Saturday, because it could be that at the same time he needs to get a haircut. Then I'm like, okay, then let me see if my parents could then watch Caleb so we
Caleb.
can
Yeah.
both get things done. But if it happens kind of last minute, like even this week, when was it? I think it was like on Tuesday or something. He was like maybe like 30 minutes away or something like that, or like he was gonna get to Caleb's school a little too late, but he told me only like with a 30 minutes notice, and I was like, I'm sorry, I can't. I literally have to go into a work meeting,
Yeah.
you know. So, but again, you also have to prepare for that because
Yeah.
things can happen last
Yeah.
minute. What's the backup plan? Like, thankfully, again, I have that flexibility in my job that I can go out and run and get him if Calvin is running late. But again, I understand that happened. You know, there could be he's working in New York, he's driving back. There could be an accident that's gonna, you know, delay him by 2 hours. So then again, then I'll sit there, then communicate that to my boss, like, hey, I
Mhm.
have to go do pickup today. Calvin couldn't do it. Obviously, I don't need to go into the nitty gritty details.
Okay.
But again, it's all freaking communication.
Yeah.
Because even
Exactly.
yesterday with my boss, I didn't realize Caleb had a delayed opening. That's another thing I need to check with his school because they didn't call, text, nothing. I went on the school's website and that's
Mhm.
how I found out after I was already at school.
Oh, fun.
And, you know, I'm putting in the code to get in the door and I'm like, oh, it's green, but the door, and I'm like, the lights are off. I'm like, it's about to be 9 o'clock. What is going on? And sure enough, I was like, let me check the website. Mind you, the day before that it was actually like snowing and all that stuff, I was checking the website. But yesterday morning, I didn't think to
Yeah.
check it. It was, you know, freezing cold and I know the roads were icy. But I just go and then I'm like, crap, we literally have like an hour. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes because the late opening was at 10.
Yeah.
And then I
Same
was
here.
like, crap. I was like, what do I do? I'm like, I'm not going to go home because then that's going to throw him off. Because I was like, if we go home, then I'm just not going to take him to school today. But I was like, I need him to go to school today because I have this and this to get done for work.
Mhm.
And then, but then I messaged my boss. I was like, hey, just did not realize that Caleb had the late opening until now. I think I may do like a Trader Joe's run. And my other coworker chimed in, oh my God, get the ricotta cheese from there. It's like butter. And I'm like, yeah, no, I love the ricotta cheese from there. But again, that flexibility in with the job helped
Mhm.
at just in that moment. Cause then even if I always think of like, oh, if I go get another job, am I going to have this flexibility?
Correct.
And then
Yeah.
even sometimes, let's say if you're like F your partner and you want to, you know, think that the grass is greener on the other side, but you
Mhm.
didn't even bother to water it on your side and you water
Or
it
have
by
that
the
communication.
conversation and, you know, learning, like you said, also like
Mhm.
the love languages and learning your freaking child's love language, I think is huge. You know, we're about to enter love month. We could definitely
Yes.
have.
Love.
I was like, love month already started. Love month is January and February.
Yes.
March could be for the luck of the leprechaun.
Yes. Oh, the luck of the Irish. Mm.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like that's my experience
Mhm.
with the whole default parents and parenting roles and like the journey of it. And now, like, even going forward, what's going to continue to help us is that, like, letting him know, like, oh, I signed him up. Because before I would just sign him up for whatever and then tell him after.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, now, even like with the whole thing when we signed him up for karate, you know, we both went and experienced it because all the other gyms I've just kind of done in my own. Oh, by the way, Caleb has classes on this. And then I think I did the same thing like with soccer. So that's something that I'm working on
Yeah.
myself in my household, the CEO.
Mhm.
I need to just communicate it or plug it into the shared
The shared
calendar.
calendar.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I actually I had a like a similar thing, like, with Caleb's coat. um, Oliver has really been obsessed with his Nike sneakers and he loves them. He loves his Nike sneakers or whatever. And he's expressed it to Alberto a lot. Like, he's like, I need new ones. They're too small. These are too small. So Alberto was like, okay. So he picked them up and he texted me. He's like, I'm going to take him to the Nike outlet. I'm like, okay. And he let him pick. He FaceTimed me to get an input. And I was like, whatever you think is good, just get him whatever. And he was like, okay. So he helped him pick it. And it was a cute little outing. Like, they got pretzels and they're creating their own little memories. I feel
That's
like
beautiful.
that default parenting a little bit for us, it's like FOMO. And the only FOMO I care about. Like, if they're doing something, it's like, what about me? You don't want to do these with me anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? But it was nice. I was like, okay. And now Oliver wears his sneakers and he shows them off. He's like, oh, I can't wait to show my friends. I'm like, all right.
I love that.
Yeah.
No, and it's funny when you mentioned the FOMO, because I would remember staying at home before I started working with Caleb all day. And then as soon as Calvin would come home, he would just fucking forget me. Like,
Yeah.
I was non-existent. And in the beginning, I remember it hurt,
Yeah.
and I was like,
dude, I just did all
like,
this stuff with you. I still wipe
I'm
your
like,
butt.
you showing like real ungrateful vibes right now. Like, I'm not okay with this. But then I was like, where is the silver lining? I'm a very morbid person, but I am a very silver lining, very silver liner as well. I'm very polar opposites, but that's just who I am. So I was like, wait, Cindy, this is a silver lining.
Yeah.
You have time for yourself.
Yeah.
By yourself. Nobody's bothering you. Nobody cares what the fuck you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Go lay down.
Yeah.
Go lay down. Go scroll on your phone, undisturbed. So then I started doing that. And even like, when Calvin is putting Caleb down, I'm like, I could be at my phone.
Yeah.
Because recently, Caleb, he asked me to get something again, the same thing. Give me this, give me that. Asked me to get him something from the fridge. And I'm getting him something from the fridge, but I'm, again, looking at my phone while I'm doing it. He literally said, get off of your phone. And I was just like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, let me pay attention to what the heck I'm doing. Because if something falls out the fridge, then I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
But I did this to myself because I was a little mombi over here on my phone, trying to do two things at once or three things at once. So now when I get a chance to look at my phone undisturbed, because that's another thing too, that was a nice reminder for me to be more present.
Yes.
Again, because it's very easy, and again, most of the time I'm like looking up stuff and like actually like I'm not just lollygagging on my phone. I'm like, these are things that I need to like learn or discuss or whatever, but I need to allocate time for that. And my time, and I was like, okay, whenever Caleb is being put to bed by Calvin, that's my little own time to do it. Because then even I catch myself, Calvin and I watching TV together, and I'm just there on my phone, and I'm like, this is disrespectful. And he's not saying it, but it is, but again,
you would feel that way.
Yeah. Even if we're watching a movie together, but I'm like, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sure he feels the fucking same, but I'm here, I'm like, I can do both.
Yeah.
But you really can't. Like, who are you fucking?
Yeah. No. You think you can.
Right.
You can. I did see a guidance counselor actually post, I think she was a guidance counselor, about like confessions like kids were saying. And one of them was, my parents are always on their phone. I don't even know why I'm here.
Oh my God.
It was so, and like, she's like sobbing uncontrollably of all these things. And I was like, oh my, and then another kid was like, my parents pay more attention to their phones than me.
Ouch.
Yeah. And like, I try to talk to my mom and she's so distracted by her phone that I just do things myself. And I'm like, I never want and like, it's getting to the, like, screen time. My kids, I love their screen time. I'm like, yeah. But now I actually have put away their screens. Like, I'm like, no, you guys can call. And like, Oliver's really been into drawing and he loves to draw and show me.
I love it.
And then he actually signs it. Like, I'm going to frame it. And like, he puts Oliver on it. He's like, look what it says. It's Sonic. And I'm like, okay. Sonic. And I'm like, all right. And I was like, and who drew that? And he's like, Oliver. It says right here. And I'm like, oh, okay.
I love that.
But I need to, like, I've taken away their iPads and they can have it on the weekends. Or we can watch something on TV together and they start dancing and doing all these things. But also it's like, if I don't answer or if I'm not on, like, I don't respond or whatever on Instagram, it is because I'm trying to be so present with my kids and also be present at work. Because it's easy to scroll at work and be like, yeah, I'll get to it later.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm in the zone, I just try to focus and I'm like, I'll get to the phone when I get to the phone. So, and it's hard because we grew up in that generation that we did not have it. And then once we had it and it was given to us, like, here's free reign.
Yeah.
And you're like,
yeah.
Fuck.
And
I'm
you,
addicted.
and you have to be, you're in the driver's seat for that. Like,
so,
that's on you.
So like, I love D&D. So I'm all about the do not disturb. I'm like, yeah. Okay, just put that on there. I remember Alex called and my kids actually put my phone on D&D and she tried to leave me a voicemail. She's like, it's not even letting me leave a voicemail for you. And I was like, oops.
The kids know. They know what
like,
it is.
You want mommy's time. All right. Well, this was a very meaty episode.
I know.
A meaty episode.
Wait. Okay, so I wanted to leave you guys with these quotes, and this we got from the article, and we can also share the article with you guys. It was an easy, very easy read to go through and very, again, mind opening. So one of them, it said, the fact is that neither parent has to be locked into one role or the other. And we touch upon that because we spoke on that. You know, life is ever changing. You're growing, again, different things. You know, we get different jobs, different roles come across outside of the home. You know, even like with this podcast, you know, making time for that. So things need to be. There's always adjustment. There's always going to be change. So I think is remaining flexible and knowing, like, and you mentioned a lot too, everything is temporary.
Yeah.
You know, and our kids are growing, and each phase comes with its own changes. And, you know, the kid may just rely on one parent more than the other or speak more to the other parent. But then, like, and that's something that my parents always do. Whatever I tell my dad, even though if I tell him, don't tell my mom, he will always sit there at the end of the night and have that conversation with her. Like, he may gloss it over and put it in his way, but he'll sit there and communicate that. And I was just like, in the beginning, I was mad about it, but then I was like, I get it. I was like, that's being respectful of your marriage and your and your partnership. You're sharing that,
and you made this child together.
You should be aware, like, what Cindy's going through, you know, and then maybe see how you can then she can step in her own way and how. Oh my God, so good.
I love
it. And then another thing that we spoke about, and they quoted this in the article, if you can see it, you can change it. And then again, that's the awareness.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we think that our partners are blind to, like, they're not noticing this and it. But I feel like they are. They're just don't put it in the forefront because, again, they have their own shit going on with whatever. But yeah. And then one thing, I mean, I kind of said this myself with I feel like the default parenting can kind of feel like co-parenting.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because I, like, one of my very good friends is going through something crazy right now. But what I told her was, you've been co-parenting from the very beginning without even realizing it. So now, fortunately and unfortunately, you've been doing it already. But fortunately, that's going to help you in this next chapter, that you have to actually co-parent.
Correct. Yeah.
And it's crazy because I know that's been a new term. I feel like I didn't hear that shit growing up.
Yeah, because it was either like when people divorce, like they hate each other, and it's like the kids decide to just stay in one house. And
but now I feel like
now it's
the cultures, which is good.
Yeah, because sometimes people just don't work out because they just don't work out.
Right.
You know, like
and then the child unfortunately deals with a lot of trauma and shit. Yeah. I even hear it from a lot of grown-up kids now, or grown-up adults that came from a separated parent or divorced parents,
and how their inability
and how it really fucked them up.
Yeah, because they have an inability of
the nastiness that they saw, like the arguing and all that stuff, and then even through the separation, that it was still bad. Like, it didn't really help, and then obviously, every child wants their parents to be together, but unfortunately, like you said, like that, it's not always designated that way. And it's the reality of it. But I love that this new wave of co-parenting and being able to exist, and then there comes like the blended families, like, and it's very interesting. I always love, the holiday gatherings to see.
Yeah.
Oh shit, the stepdad is there. Everybody's there with the stepmom. And I was just like, everybody is sitting down and eating at the same table.
Because just because the romantic relationship didn't work, it doesn't mean that they couldn't be friends because they were friends at one point.
Right.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
and to make that effort for the child, to make that
Correct.
respectful effort to be able to share a holiday dinner,
Yeah,
or it just not doesn't even need to be a holiday a dinner, because again,
that's important.
that person is gonna, maybe move on and have their own relationship and then have maybe children. And how are y'all gonna co-grandparent
Yeah,
together? Because it's ever evolving.
Yep, the generations evolve. So,
But
all
whoa.
right, guys. Yeah,
Whoa.
we went in deep. Cheers.
Salute. Yeah, still got a little ginger
Mhm.
here. Well, we love you guys. And remember, Galentine's is coming up.
We have a
A few
few
more tickets left.
Don't miss it. It's gonna be great.
Super great. And
Amazing giveaways.
yes, I'm excited to also see, of course, everyone's
Yes,
fits. And I love to see just the creativeness of everybody putting themselves together. I'm excited. And it's, all of our events at the end of the day are networking events for you to come out and meet other like-minded women and, exchange numbers, Instagram. So I'm excited for all of that.
Mhm.
All of the connections are going to happen with this event. So please don't miss out. Make sure the link in our Instagram bio has everything on there, including the link to this video here. Make sure to like, subscribe,
and
share,
comment and share.
comment. Let us know the good and bad. We're ready. We're ready to receive it. Give us all the constructive criticism. We're open to it. We may be like, what the fuck, but we are we're open to receive it. And please, follow on Instagram if you aren't following us. We have we're on Spotify, Apple
Apple,
Podcasts,
and
and
YouTube.
soon I guess we can also try to be on Google Play if that's something that you guys listen to podcasts on there. I'm not sure.
I don't feel like it's so popular.
Right? I'm
I
like,
feel like
I don't
it's
know
either
what.
Spotify or Apple. So that's what we're gonna keep using.
Okay.
Again, if like some of you
Right.
stragglers are like,
Like,
I like Google Play.
right, like let us
All
know,
right,
because
yeah.
we don't know what we don't know.
If you don't
We're-
communicate with us, we don't know.
we won't know like what you guys need from us. And thank you so much, everyone that has already given us feedback on all of our previous 2 videos. We absolutely love it. We are excited to continue growing
Mhm.
on our online platforms, and we love you guys.
Love y'all. Bye.
Thank you. Deuces.